The Saints have been linked to a superstar wide receiver. It's none other than Amari Cooper. NFL Trade Rumors put out an article linking a bunch of the top free agents still available in free agency to their respective teams that they think could end up signing these players. They said the Saints would go and sign Amari Cooper. So we're going to talk about it in full detail, and we're also just going to have an honest conversation about the wide receiver group. Now, really quickly, I want to ask you a question. Would you sign a wide receiver? If the answer is yes, shout him out. I want to hear who it is. Maybe it's Amari Cooper. Maybe it's Keenan Allen. Maybe it's somebody else. But if not, I want you to type no in the comment section. Who Dat Nation, we have a fun video for you. Hope you're ready. In case you didn't know, Amari Cooper is a player that does actually have familiarity, and he does have ties to the black and gold through the coaching staff that is currently in New Orleans. Kellen Moore, the head coach, and Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, they actually both coached Amari Cooper when he was in Dallas early in his career, so they do have familiarity with this player and the player with the coaches. And for what it's worth, I do believe that this is a player that could offer some veteran presence in a really young wide receiver group that is exciting, that is intriguing, but quite frankly just needs some more age, needs some more experience, and quite honestly also could use a little bit more size as well. For what it's worth, he's 30 right now. He turns 31 in just a couple of weeks. And honestly, he hasn't lost much of a step. I understand when you look at the stats, it's going to be lower numbers than in the past. But I think context matters here. He was traded from the Browns to the Bills midway through the season, so you have to learn new things, new quarterback, new offense, you're in a new city, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and hold 2024 against him entirely. In 2023, though, 1,000 yards. 2022, 1,000 yards. In 2021, not quite 1,000, but he had 8 touchdowns and over 12 points, or 12 and a half yards per catch. Now, when we're having this conversation about Amari Cooper, I do believe that he's a player the Saints should at least kick the tires on. He's a player the Saints should call. In terms of being linked, there's the obvious ties between Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier and Amari Cooper, but there's also a need. So there is an actual belief, and there is reason to sit here and say this actually could end up happening. Like I said, he adds age, but he also inexperience, but he also adds size to the wide receiver room. Now, this is interesting. When you look at the wide receiver measurables, there is not a player over 6'2" listed on this group. Amari Cooper would be one of the biggest wide receivers just walking in no matter what. Bub Means, in fact, is the largest wide receiver on the in New Orleans right now. Chris Olave only 6 foot. Rashid Shaheed only 6 foot. Brandin Cooks only 5'10". Those are gonna be your starting 3 wide receivers. So if you're able to, replace one of those players with an Amari Cooper, you add size to that group. You add size to the starters. And on top of that, you add experience as well, and a player who can be physical, who can help in the run blocking department and do a lot more things other than just catch the football and be a guy who has a cool jersey number. Now, look, we showed the stats earlier. Amari Cooper is only 1 season removed from 1,000 yards. I don't think he's a washed product. I don't think that he's trash. I don't think he's garbage. I think that, quite frankly, he just needs a good system. He needs a good team. He needs somebody who knows how to scheme plays up to him. And what better person to do that than a guy who's done it in the past in Kellen Moore? He's calling plays in New Orleans. He was helping call plays, or at least work with the offense in Dallas early in his coaching career. And look, I just think that this would make a lot of sense for New Orleans. And honestly, probably one of the best options, if you ask me. There's not a lot of great wide receivers left in free agency. Keenan Allen, certainly interesting. Gabe Davis, definitely one I have my eyes on. However, he's drawing a lot of interest. He has a visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, today, or this week, or today and tomorrow, I should say, or later this week. Either way, he's visiting with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nelson Aguilar, DJ Chark, LSU legend, and Tyler Boyd are also players that are available, but I think for me, the 2 names that really stand out are Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper. Maybe Gabe Davis, but you're going to have to go and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers to go and sign him. Now, I'll tell you this, if there are any updates around the roster, if there's any news around the Saints roster, any players get signed, cut, traded away, traded for, anything like that, we're going to make you a video. This is your one-stop shop for all things New Orleans Saints, not just rumors, but news and updates as well. So be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you never miss a video here at Saints Now by Chat Sports, your one-stop shop for on-demand Saints content every day. Now, Kellen Moore has added some context around the wide receiver group, and he's added a lot of context in terms of how this offense is going to run. We obviously don't know what it's really going to look like on game days until we get to week 1, because I believe even in the preseason, we probably still won't see everything. Now, Kellen Moore has said that pace and space are key factors in this offense. Now, size, although it is important, I don't think necessarily adds to the pace and space. Sure, when the 50-50 ball, sure, in contested catches, those things can be true. But I want to just kick it over to one of the best deep threats in recent NFL history, Brandin Cooks here, because I think he adds some really good points that we should consider here. Now, keep in mind, pace and space. At the end of the day, wideout play is, can you beat your guy in front of you? I think a lot of us can do that. There's a lot of narratives of, there's not a tall, there's not a big guy there, but we can all separate, so it doesn't matter. Remember, pace and space. You just need to be able to space yourself out with your speed. If you can create space because you're faster and because you can beat the guy in front of you, that's creating space. That's a win. The pace of the play and the pace of the offense and the pace of the game, that also can be very, very dictated by the speed of your wide receivers and of the offense and the type of offense they run. And for what it's worth, I think it's hard to argue with Brandin Cooks. I mean, being a wide receiver isn't as much about, can I outbody you? Can I be more physical than you? It's just, can I beat you? Doesn't matter how. It's just, can I beat you? And Kellen Moore, he actually has a lot of belief in this wide receiver group. He says that he thinks that they've got some speed that they're going to emphasize. And I think that that's a great thing to do between Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Brandin Cooks. Those are 3 very, very fast guys who some of their best talents are stretching the field and downfield threats. So when it comes to the New Orleans Saints, I'm really excited about the possibility of the speed there, but maybe size matters. Giggity, who knows? And maybe there's a secret weapon. We're going to talk about it in 1 second. Really quickly, these sideline hoodies are on sale. Chatsports.com/Saints hoodie sale. Link is clickable in the comments and description of this video, so be sure to go and get yourself an awesome hoodie. All the players, all the coaches have one. Even I got one of these bad boys, and it's on sale. Chatsports.com/Saints hoodie sale. Go get it on clearance. Limited time. Once they're gone, they're gone. So don't waste any more time. Go and get yourself one. They are selling like crazy. Alrighty, did you know, just a couple more things, and then we'll hop on out of here. Did you know the New Orleans Saints are one of only 2 teams that don't have a wide receiver taller than 6'2"? The Minnesota Vikings are that other team. For what it's worth, that's insane to think about. I actually had to go fact check. I was like, wow, that's crazy. A little bit easier when Justin Jefferson is your guy and Jordan Addison are your players. It makes it a little easier. You may not need all that size, but, you know, I do think you have a secret weapon on the roster. And maybe this is a player that could pop off, and maybe there's belief in the house, in the clubhouse, that they didn't need to draft a guy like Ted McMillan or Jaden Higgins or any of these other big wide receivers. Like, maybe, just maybe, the coaching staff said, hey, Bub Means kind of nice. It's kind of a dog. Like, we're going to keep this on the DL, and we're going to let him cook throughout the offseason and throughout the preseason, throughout the training camp. We're going to let Bub do his thing, and then we're going to feed him on Sundays. Maybe that's the plan here. Either way, I just want to say, let Kellen Moore and let Keith Williams cook. Kellen Moore, the head coach. Keith Williams, the wide receivers coach. Keith Williams, I think he's a phenomenal wide receivers coach. He's been very, very praised by a lot of the top wide receivers in the National Football League, including Devontae Adams. And for what it's worth, Keith Williams, he knows what it takes to be a successful wide receiver and maybe not have all the size in the world. I mean, he was an undrafted free agent, and he understands the importance of the areas in the wide receiver game that don't create highlights, like the blocking, for example. Kellen Moore, he's also said that obviously size does help, and especially in the run blocking department, but some of the best run blockers they've had on the roster aren't the biggest guys. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to continue to say what I've said since we've hired Kellen Moore. I have no reason not to believe in Kellen Moore. Until he gives me a reason to not believe in him, then I'm going to just say, you know what? Okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Because no matter what, it's going to be very, very difficult to be worse than it was last year. Now, who's going to score the first touchdown for Tyler Shough? Who's going to catch the first touchdown pass from the rookie quarterback, Tyler Shough out of Louisville? I want to hear from you in the comment section. And if you're going to sit here and be like, well, it's not going to be Tyler Shough, it's going to be Spencer Rattler. Same question. Who's going to catch the first touchdown this year? I want to hear from you. Bub Means caught Spencer Rattler's first one. Do what you want with that information. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.